Welcome into the Cam and Strick podcast, episode number 30. What's going on, everybody? I'm Andy Strickland. Cam Jensen and the Hizzy. What's going on, Cam?
30, eh? Damn, dude. 30 already.
That's a special edition. That's a special edition when you get to 30. Okay?
I think you're right. I think when I got to 30 goals, I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going to do something special tonight, baby.
You would never get to 30 goals.
I got to 30 goals and then one night game. No. I got to 30 goals a couple weeks ago from the retirement doing alumni games, and I'm fucking celebrating, baby. That's how it goes.
That would never count. Never count.
In my mind, it does. In
What's
your
going on
mind,
with
it
you?
should. I'm bored.
I scored 30 goals, by the way, one year.
Look, motherfucker, let's stop with the hype. Stop. You're a cornerback. Shut the fuck up.
Oh, my God.
Cornerback. Shut the fuck up. You weren't a cornerback.
Three interceptions.
No, you didn't.
A 2-point conversion.
No, you didn't, dude.
As a wingback.
As a wingback.
I played cornerback.
No, you didn't.
I would shut you down, dude. I was like a shutdown corner back in the day.
Oh, my God. Step over you like, what's up? Boom. Catching balls.
Did you play other sports ever?
Yes. Or you want to name off the sports?
Yeah.
I played roller hockey. I wrestled. I ran.
Roller hockey is like the same thing as ice hockey.
I started with it, motherfucker, but that's how. Roller hockey, I ran track, 4x1, 4x2, 100-yard dash, 200, all that stuff. I did with track. Kate, that's how first time I saw Kate, because she was doing the same thing. Wrestled, I ran cross country because I had to quit football when I played football because I was missing practice. So I ran cross country to stay in shape, and all the football coaches are like, what the fuck, Cam? You're fucking quitting football, but now you're torturing yourself and running cross country. That means you're fucking dedicated. So I did that. What else did I do? Ice hockey, of course. Baseball, soccer. I did it all, baby. Oh, yeah,
listen, we have a lot in common, Cam, because I got kicked off the football team, too. Actually,
I didn't get kicked off. I quit.
Well, here's what happened. The coach
you got kicked off because you couldn't play.
No, he came to me and grabbed me out of English class because I had told him that I couldn't be at practice that day. I said something like I had a doctor's appointment, which I shouldn't have been put in that position anyway. But the hockey coach was like, listen, you got to make it to at least one tryout. It's not fair to everybody else. If you don't come to the tryouts, you got to come to one. So I said I had a doctor's appointment. Shouldn't have done that. I lied about it. The football coach, he's like an old school coach from Dazed and Confused, from the movie. He had the shorts going. Okay,
we had the same thing.
He comes and grabs me and says, if you're not at practice today, you're off the team. Well, I didn't even have my football stuff with me. I was going to hockey practice. So this is what they do to these kids, man. They force these kids to make a decision and have to make a choice.
Yeah, but you can't do both, motherfucker. You just can't do both.
No.
You have to dedicate one. You want to run cross country and play hockey? Fine. You want to even maybe wrestle and do it? Fine. I wrestled just to fucking get my shoulders strong. You should have fucking wrestled, to be honest with you. Your neck would be bigger. But here's the deal. You can't play fucking high school football and expect to play hockey too in this practice. You just can't do it. You got to be one or the other. I get that. It's nice to play football maybe going up. A lot of kids aren't even playing football anymore because of the head injuries, to be honest with you. But I tell this to parents, get your kid into everything. Fucking everything, and then he'll become an athlete, and then whatever he likes to do, he'll do. That's it. But don't dedicate. Yeah, write that down.
Yeah, there's the advice for Cam.
Write that down. It did not work for me. I'm sorry. It didn't work for me, did it?
I love it. What was your first fight? I got a message from this guy today who's like, dude, I love your guys' podcast. I used to watch every St. Louis Sting game. I saw Cam back when he was nothing. Were you just crazy playing tier 2 junior A?
Look it up on YouTube. There's YouTube videos of me fighting with all my buddies in the stands at Chesterfield Rink. God rest its soul. And I would go buckets off, stand at the thing you know how I did it? And also I spin my bucket, and all my buddies in high school are sitting there watching, and they're all come down right by the glass. It's so funny fighting 20-year-olds. At 16, with my sideburns, I finally got to grow, My dad sometimes had to drive me out to practice. I was too young. I mean, it's just, you turn into a man, Andy. I'm like,
who was that? Was Jan Stastny playing with you, or was he gone by then?
No, he was gone by then. But I went through all kinds of different guys, man. We went through fucking 50 coaches that year, 123 different players. It's just crazy. But
Who was the coach? Zombo? Who was the coach?
No, Zombo got fired. Then it went through like 4 different guys. God damn, I forgot the name.
You know what I might do, Cam?
What?
Listen, I came out with my top 50 list of St. Louis hockey players of all time, ever. I have the list. I put it all together. It's organized. I've got explanations and, paragraphs describing every player, okay? And, so I was going to work with some people to put it out. I might just start putting that out.
Just put it out, man. Seriously, fuck that, dude. Dude, that's a big deal, man. A lot of those, there's a lot of good players that came out of St. Louis, and it's not, and you were describing that too, it's not like the best hockey player, just like the most impact that they had, right? I mean, that's, like the most impact, like they played a long time, or they did this, or they went their first ones to get there, or whatever the case is. So you don't have to explain yourself to people, because a lot of people are going to get fucking butthurt when their name's not on that, or somebody's ahead of who. Like, you're going to have to fucking.
I know somebody's going to get mad, but a lot of people said to me, "How are you going to put together 50 players?" And listen, it doesn't have to be 50, but we've had over 20 that made the National Hockey League out of St. Louis. And it's not as difficult as you think it is. And we've got a bunch of kids who have gone on to play, major, junior in college and have great pro careers and maybe didn't play in the National Hockey League. So, I mean,
and they need to be recognized.
I could have done a top 75 if I wanted to.
I know. And those guys need to be recognized, man. Like, guys that, I was at the tail end of not knowing shit with hockey, in the early 90s and stuff. Like, fuck it, what do I do? But, imagine being in the early 80s and playing in St. Louis. 10 years before that, where we were just like, what are we doing? We're in House Springs, Missouri. We know the blues, and that's it. What do I do? Roller hockey? Okay, I'll play in my basement. There's no pond. Couldn't skate a pond. There's no, nothing down the road where there's a rink right by where my dad could walk me to it or whatever the fuck. It just didn't work that way. So you just had to improvise, man. So some of these guys that didn't make it, that fucking maybe just had a nice college run, and that needs to be recognized, in my opinion.
So we're going to have Ryan Whitney on, and I asked him during the podcast how much, was he just one of these kids who was just hockey crazed as a kid? Because I was, Cam.
I know you were.
Everything was. My entire life was hockey. If I wasn't at the rink playing, I was playing in my driveway. I was watching hockey. I was so into it. Was that the same for you or no?
Oh my God, man. I mean, torturing the neighbor kids because I'd make them get rollerblades, and then my older
Why does everything come down to torturing people?
Because I was crazy. And I had an older brother, and his buddies were fucking shit-kicking sons of bitches that love the Blues too. And they'd come down and they'd torture me, and then I had to fucking fight back. Fuck this. I'm gonna hit you in my basement against the snap ties in the basement, concrete walls, and we're just gonna get bloody, and we're gonna fight. And then my dad's gonna have to come down and laugh, and then my mom's gonna yell at my dad to come back down and actually not laugh this time, to break it up, and he still will laugh, and then go back up. Then they'll get into a fight. Then everybody's fucking fighting. So that's where it came, but that's how it all started. I mean, it was crazy, man. Breaking windows and shit. I know.
Hey, there's talk right now about the NHL coming back, and if
is there?
Well, I mean, if it does come back, playing in neutral sites. I talked to Bill Daly last Friday, and he brought up the fact that ever since they announced that they would be willing to play games if they needed to in neutral cities. I mean, cities are just volunteering themselves left and right, being like, hey, we'll host games. But I get the sense, talking from other people, they might as well just play in your own home arena with no fans as opposed to traveling. To traveling to a neutral site if there's no fans.
Isn't that
there,
risk?
why not just do it in your own city?
Isn't that risky, traveling anyway? Just fucking stay home and get a fucking, everybody gets their own little fucking sanitized bus to the rink and just do it. Everybody's gonna watch. Are you kidding? Now, like I said last time, if you're going to tell me that in 3, 4, 5, 6 months that people are going to be like, look, everybody come together now, 20,000, it's not going to happen. It might not happen for a while, in my opinion. I don't mean to be depressing, but we're going to improvise is the key word in this whole thing. And I think that man. I watched Stanley Cup Finals last year. I mean, all day long, just watching. I'm giddy and excited. Oh, here it comes. I thought they were going to lose when I knew they were going to win. You're telling me people aren't going to watch shit, and the TV ratings are going to be astronomical to at least get some of this money back, something. I don't know. They're going to, again, it's going to be a slow moving project, but I think there will be hockey. They're not going to be fans for a while, in my opinion.
But I mean, if the social distancing guidelines are loosened up a little bit, like if people are allowed to gather to watch games, maybe not pack the house at Obie Clark's like we saw last year or seen in the past or whatever. But if you're allowed to have a few people at home, over to your house to watch the game, I mean, listen, people will find ways to adjust, man. If the games are going to be on, people will find ways to adjust, to entertain themselves and to truly enjoy it at the utmost level. Like, it's not just going to be like, oh, this isn't fun. This isn't fun. People will love it. Okay?
I agree. And there'll be makeshift things where you'll be able to sit in a parking lot in your own section to watch a big screen. I don't know. I don't know. Or maybe have a drive-through or drive-in movie set up. And I'm extreme here, but
a drive-through. What the hell are you even talking about?
Motherfucker, let me finish. A drive-in movie with your kids, you go, and then the Blues game's on. I don't know. I'm trying to get creative here. I don't know. The whole thing is, what I do know is, unless there's a cure that's cheap and everybody's will be able to have access to, most people, whatever the case is, there is not going to be a gathering of over, there might be certain amount in each restaurant depending on how big it is or whatever the case is, but you're going to tell me, unless there's a cure that everybody is accessible to, there's not going to be a 20,000 people gathering anywhere for a long time. And that's just my opinion. I'm a scientist, not a doctor.
That's just your opinion. It's also the opinion of most intelligent people.
I have a ninth grade education. Don't even listen to me. I'm not smart. I'm not educated. I don't know shit. I'm sitting in my office right now with my cat.
I saw you do a Zoom call with YP and Pat Maroon. Like they put poor Robert Thomas on there. I was like, the collective brain cells, like in this one interview.
Fuck that. I was the smartest one in that group.
Were you?
I was Leonardo da Vinci creating fucking bullshit, thinking of ideas and shit. Seriously,
it's a smart group together. That was fun.
As long as you're entertaining, buddy. You just gotta be entertaining. It's like Ryan Whitney.
He's entertaining. Like everyone I told that we were gonna have Ryan Whitney on, they're like, oh, he's a funny son of a bitch, man. So he is, man. Did you know, like, before he started doing the podcast, that he always had a reputation as being like super funny?
He's always in that. He's always in the funny group, man. There's always a funny group of guys, man. They're always like kind of like herded into some sort of like category, man. Every game, every team you played, all the funny guys are always recognized because they liven up the day. They make it. There's like having a fucking stand-up comedian every day, being funny, and you're like, sometimes they're dicks, sometimes that's the way it is to be funny too. But he was in that group. I remember hanging with him when I was young in Wilkes-Barre one night. We all went to the bar together, and I was with Albany and he was with Wilkes-Barre, and we all just hung out, and he was making me laugh all night, and I entertained him. And he still remembers that, and I just remember it just was, I'm like, yeah, you're a funny motherfucker. So was Colby Armstrong that night, too. And you're like, okay, you just know, man. Stevie Ott, when I walked in the locker room when I was 17, first thing he said, he chirped me right off the bat. I'm like, oh, God, oh, boy. And he's walking around like a big dick, like, fuck, I'm the man. I scored 50 fucking goals in 50 games on a penalty shot. I'm a big dick motherfucker. And those guys are funny.
Steve Ott is one of the best. If we could get him on, we'd have him on like 2 weeks ago. 2 months ago.
Why don't you call Doug Armstrong and be like, hey, can we interview assistant coach, please?
We may have to.
He'll listen to you. He answers your calls.
He would be absolutely hilarious.
No, he would.
I love Otter, man. He's a great guy. So we asked him some questions about Spitin Chiclets and stuff like that. Like, that wasn't the purpose of having him on. Like, we're just kind of curious because they obviously were doing this, Cam, but they've just taken it to such a level that just seems so impossible to reach. I mean, it's just crazy how big they are.
It's very curious, man. Like, we're kind of in the same business. So we're like, well, how does that work? How does this work? and I think a lot of people understand too. Like, we love your hockey career, don't get me wrong.
We don't want to talk about your hockey career.
I want to know like your second career. That's still a pump up too, motherfucker. Like, you're fucking dominating in a business that you didn't start. You dominated in NHL, and now you're dominating in the media business, and everybody that grinded through the media business could look at you and be like, fucking hey, now you had a little help because you played in the NHL, but to be able to do one thing and dominate and do another thing and dominate, I don't know, man. I appreciate that shit. So now I'm curious on how the fuck you did it.
These guys, I will say this about these guys. Like, they could have easily been like, no, I'm not going on your podcast, man. I got my own podcast, whatever. But you know what? They're cool. They give us the time of day. I basically hired Biz as my personal manager, like, to help me, like, help me, like, my advisor. You know, he's like my podcast mentor. Like whenever I have questions, this guy picks up the phone, he answers them.
He does, dude.
So these guys are cool dudes, man. They don't just like, you know,
they pump
don't
our
mind
tires
helping
up
you out too, you know.
They pump our tires up, and they don't have to. Like just like you said, man, they always fucking bring us up and shit, and we appreciate that. And, you know, I'm like, look, we need to get Whit on. We didn't want to get with Whit in the same month kind of thing, or even the same, like, we had to spread it out a little bit. We'll get RA on too. Shit, I don't care. They're all fucking interesting, you know. So, anyway, it's a good podcast, man. Let's take a listen to it.
Enjoy it. Brian Whitney. He was a high pick too, Cam. 5th overall. Jesus.
No shit. I know.
So, but he might be better in his second career.
Yeah.
Don't stop what you're doing, Whit, man. You're making stuff happen, obviously. They're making jack too, eh?
Well, fuck yeah, they're making jack. Fucking shit ton of jack, as they should. And he could probably retire now and not do shit and just make money off Pink Whitney. Motherfucking
he loves golfing, though. Hey, I want to tell you about Bellman.com, though, Cam. www.bellman.com. These guys are such good people, man. They're hanging with us. We're hanging with them. And, you know, if you're looking for a car in St. Louis, there is no better option to go to. I keep seeing all these other dealerships around town, you know, advertising, you know, sanitizing the cars. We'll come to you. The first person I heard about doing that was our friend Dan Bellman with Bellman.com. Again, www.bellman.com. Get a virtual meeting. Check out a car. They'll text with you. They'll email with you. They'll Zoom with you if you want to see the interior. They'll bring it out to you, like I said. So, again, no better time to buy a car than now. You can get a new car or a used car from our boys over there with Bellman. www.bellman.com. And also, the one and only Renee Howitt with Coke24.com, Cam.
Ooh, Renee. What a sweetheart of a woman she is. We need to get her on the podcast.
She loves you. You kind of scared her at first. I know. She loves you.
Why I scared her? No, she's a badass. What are you talking? She's scared of me? Yeah, right.
You're scared of her.
She run my show. I want to pick her brain on so many different things too. Like, she's just a smart woman. She's a dedicated woman. She understands what she's doing, and she puts her whole life into it, man, and help families and understand having kids and things like that. So check out Coke24. They do great stuff. Check out Bellman.com. Big hockey people. Again, the same kind of concept. They know what's good for this city, and they do great work, man. So check those both out. We love them both.
Yeah, they keep it real, just like us, right here on the Cam and Strick podcast. Ryan Whitney coming at you.
What up, man? What are you doing?
I'm just kicking it, boys. Fuck, you know how it is right now. It's fuck. Where are you? Are you guys at home or are you together?
Listen,
fuck, I'm not going by that motherfucker. He's got 3 kids.
I'm in my car. I'm sitting in my fucking car because I got to get out of my house because, you know, we moved it to the evening. This is when my house goes nuts with. You know how it is.
He sounds like shit too.
Yeah, I can't imagine how fucking 3 kids must be nuts.
It is. Where are you at in your house, man? You got a couple, don't you? You just chilling in a room. Like, can you get away at all, or you lose your mind?
I'm losing it because you can't golf in Massachusetts. So, yeah. I mean, it's just a fucking nightmare, dude. It just sucks. I mean, hopefully it gets figured out soon. I can stay inside for April. If you tell me to stay inside all of May too, I'm done. I'm a dead man.
Can't do it. No, I can't do it. I'll lose my mind. I need to be on the water. I need something.
Are you guys like all shut down there?
It's I don't know what the fuck to call it. No, people are. When I go out, people are still cruising around. I still see a lot of people still working. But no one, you know, people are working in the grocery store, but no one's going to the bars. The bars are shut down.
Yep. Restaurants
shit.
Ken has no idea. He thinks he's on vacation right now. He has no idea. This guy is like, he's got it set up in his house. He doesn't leave his house. Like, nobody's happier right now during this whole thing than Cam.
You love this. I love this.
Look, I don't love the coronavirus, but I like being able to do my shit in my office and like play video games all day and not be considered a slob. That to me is kind of cool. You know, like, you know, a year ago you're a fucking scumbag for that. Now you're a fucking hero, and I like that. Yep. I hear you. Like, so what's going on with you now? Like, are you like you? Like, I don't know where the fuck to start with you, to be honest. Do I start with his career, 5th overall?
I can ask him a question.
I'm going to. 5th overall in my draft year in Toronto. I remember that, man. That was fucking kind of cool at Pittsburgh. You started in Pitt when they had that youth movement with Crosby and all that. And fuck, man, you just were a part of that. That's a fucking godsend to hockey right there.
Yeah, well, I'll never forget. I was on the beach and my brother came running down, and he's like, "Hey, Pittsburgh, you guys just got Crosby," and he's going nuts because that was when they did. I mean, the lottery. I don't remember how or when it was done exactly, but I do remember Pittsburgh. The news broke that Pittsburgh got 1st overall, and they were going to get Crosby. I had already been drafted a couple years prior. Just like, oh my god, like. I'm going to play with this guy. Immediately you just thought, like, I'm going to get the chance to be on the ice with this guy. So it was great. And then when I got to the minors, Colby Armstrong was there, Marc-Andre Fleury was there, Rob Scuderi, Brooke Sorpick, just like so many different guys that ended up, having really good careers, are still going, some of them.
Hey, Whit, so you were a high pick, though. I mean, the pressure that comes with that. I know you weren't the 1st overall pick, but would you go 5th overall, something like that? So, I mean, there's pressure from that standpoint. Did you feel the pressure? Like, were they putting pressure on you to come in and contribute right away? You said you played in the minors for a couple of years, so did they give you time to develop?
Hey, yeah, 5th OV. Hey, Jansen.
I was 117, baby. I was 117, baby. Fuck that. I celebrated like a motherfucker.
You deserved it. You would have just eaten me as a meal if you felt like it. Was there? No, I mean, I never really felt like any of the pressure in terms of being a real top pick. I got to the AHL after my junior year of college. I left school and played the rest of that season with Wilkes-Barre, which was actually, I just hopped in the playoffs. In the second game of the playoffs, I came in and we went on a run. We went to the Calder Cup Finals. We got swept by Milwaukee, but it was so great for me. I didn't even realize at the time how valuable it was that I was just hopping right into a full-blown cup chase down in the AHL. Like, I think we played 21 games, and it was just the best thing ever. And then I got to come back the next year. No, unfortunately, that was the lockout year, but that was kind of almost good for me because there was no pressure. It was I always appreciate that my first year pro, there was never any he got called up, I didn't get called up, that guy got called up. You know what I mean, Jansen?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That fucking 04 lockout year with the
it was the best. That was the most fun. That was the most fun I've ever had playing hockey.
Oh my god! Because you had guys on your team that made money because they're still making NHL money. That some guys had to come down. Guys just had big signing bonuses.
Yeah, I was making 92.5 that year, 92,500. I was like, I'm a Wilkes. Yeah. I couldn't spend this if I tried. Taking $10 at Arena Bar and Grill every night.
What was your signing bonus, dude? That was when they fucking throwing huge money out. What was your signing bonus?
I was one of the guys. I mean, I don't think I was the last time, but that definitely ended pretty soon after. It was my bonus. I think it was like 1-2.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because I remember.
Yeah,
I got a check. And the first part, it was like $5.90. I was like, holy shit. And then I was like, I'm going to get an Escalade. My dad says, there's no chance you're getting an Escalade. So I bought an old man's Infinity Q45 and got chirped for it relentlessly.
Fuck yeah. That's great.
Hey, were you one of these guys that just like loved the game? Like growing up, were you all about hockey, or were you just really good at it, and therefore you were always, a big time name and whatever? But did you have the passion for the game to go along with it?
I was so obsessed with hockey. I can't even. I mean, I think a ton of guys. Interestingly enough, there's a lot of guys who aren't like that, but I think a ton of them are who end up playing in the NHL. From the moment I really remember, say, third, fourth grade, I was just so obsessed, and all I thought about was being in the NHL. I remember, I swear to God, that's how I started getting anxiety. Like I was like, oh, what if I won't? What if I don't make it? No, I will. No, I will. No, I will.
Oh yeah.
All I did and all I said, and every day school would end, and I loved shooting pucks, and I'd play street hockey, and it was all I did, all I cared about, all I still to this day think of growing up and being that passionate about something. Now I'm like it with golf, but now I'm an adult with the son, and so you can't really be as as basically as much of a degenerate into golf as I was into hockey, if that makes any sense. It was cool when I was growing up. Now I can't do it anymore.
Well, you make money doing it now, dude. I mean, you're making fucking money knowing the game and being able to fucking, relay it in your own personality. But I feel like that's kind of a Boston thing, man. Like people in Boston, going to Boston, like you're really, really into every sport. I feel like in St. Louis, you're into the Cardinals and the Blues and the Rams when they're there. You're into them. But in Boston, you're just in the fucking diehard, man. Like it's like fucking. It's diehard over there, dude.
That's that's the 20 years they've had as well. I'll tell you, growing up, I didn't even really know about the Patriots. They were so bad from the time I can remember until I was like a sophomore in high school. I think they maybe went to the Super Bowl, Drew Bledsoe and stuff. But it's because every single team has been good for a long time for the most part. And that's why you sense like the city of champions is true. But when I was growing up, it was just hockey. I love the Red Sox. I love baseball, but I didn't go to any football or basketball games.
Don't you have a couple brothers, right? And one of them played hockey. I
have two younger brothers, Colin and Sean. And Colin never played hockey. He wasn't into it. He played lacrosse in college. And my brother Sean, he actually was a good hockey player. He played at Cornell. Smart kid. He played for a year or two in the East Coast League. It was the lockout year, though. So everyone was pushed down. So he kind of got screwed trying to maybe hop into pro hockey. It was the worst year to do it.
Like a lot of times when you have somebody in the family who's hilarious, there's always like another brother who's even funnier, even though people may not know who he is. Like, is that how it was with your family, or they just?
Oh yeah. Both of my brothers are so funny. I think I'm starting to realize I think my friends, some of my buddies, are like the funniest people in the world, because now our podcast has grown, and I have my friends on, and everyone like loves these guys. I'm like, yes. People sometimes think I'm funny. I'm like the 7th funniest guy in the group.
Exactly. That's how you learn to be funny.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, these guys are all chirping me like they think you're funny. Like, try to come to one of our group dinners. I was actually thinking of during one of my group of buddies here, if we did a Zoom during this quarantine, of trying to like video the Zoom so I could then show the fans basically what me and all my buddies shooting the shit it sounds like.
Well, that's what people want to hear, man. I mean, it is what it is. It's that
down the earth
fucking, I was going to kind of switch directions here a little bit here.
You go any direction you want.
Let me take control of this bad boy, Andy. See, I know what I'm doing.
You drive the bus.
Hey, listen,
I'm driving the bus here.
I don't know how many concussions you've had, but you may have another one at the end of this interview if Cam's fucking right.
If I'm switching directions all over the place, this is what I do. This is what I do. You had a fucking no movement clause. You get traded twice in a year. What happened at the end of that? No way, you guys lost, which is fucking god awful, by the way. Went through it in 2012. I was a black ace grinding it for 2 months with Eric Bolton, like every fucking day, bag skate every day. You were fucking playing. What was that like, man, losing like that? Because I actually do know the feeling. But then you get traded twice and you have a no movement clause. Explain that whole situation.
Well, I signed a 6-year deal, and I think the no movement clause or no trade clause, it wasn't no movement, I don't think, but that kicked in like the 3rd year, the 4th year. So if I were to get traded, it had to be in the first year, 2, or maybe 3 of that contract. The run to the finals was just insane, and it happened so quick. It felt like my rookie year in the NHL was Sid's rookie year. And the team, we finished 28th or 29th. We were terrible. But we actually played pretty good at the end of the year. Like you started winning some games, and you saw, all right, well, there's definitely something here. I mean, Crosby's getting 100 points. So then next year, Malkin comes, and so does Stahl. And we're flying out of the gates. And we end up getting into the playoffs, having a great year. We get into the playoffs. We ran into Ottawa, who was just a wagon and ran through everyone and ended up losing in the cup. Remember how good that Ottawa team was?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm telling a long story here. So we're now growing. All right, well, we made the playoffs, and we saw how different that was. After being horrible, what do we got the next year? Well, the next year comes, and we have a hell of a regular season. We sweep Ottawa in the first round. We beat the Rangers easily in the second round, or I don't even know, and then the Flyers in the conference final, I believe. I might have the Rangers Flyers switched up. So we're dominating the whole Eastern Conference to get to the Cup. And we're feeling as confident as ever. You got Hossa, who we added, Malkin, Crosby. You just name that team. There's going to be so many guys in the Hall of Fame. Gonchar's playing unreal. Fleury. And so we run into Detroit, who we watched play Dallas because we finished early in the conference finals, and they looked so good. I said, I wish Dallas would win here. But you knew it was going to be Detroit. I know.
Yep.
You knew it was going to be Detroit. And we got in, and we were still confident. But the first two games in Detroit, we lost 3-0, 4-0. We didn't get a goal, and we were outshot. It had to be 2-1. Domination. So it never really felt like we had a chance in the series. We won game 3 to give ourselves a shot, and a crazy game 5 in double overtime. But I'll never forget every single game, but I will know that it was as heartbreaking as you'd imagine. I mean, you were there, and I was. Everyone, guys were crying after. It's so hard. You fight so long, and for what you dreamed of, it was like you're so close. It just sucks.
It's such a weird feeling. And then you know what? A couple days later, you're like, okay, and you're like, oh, I'm just glad I could fucking now. I'm gonna go chill, go home, relax. Let me kick my feet up a little bit. It's such a grind. How was Crosby though? Like, he seems like he's so perfect, eh? Like, did you see him? He walks in the locker room. He's like, oh, you're probably like, oh my God, his hair is fucking nice. This guy does everything right. Never gets in, like, there's never anything bad about him. Maybe he'll do something on the ice where fans will chirp, whatnot. But the guy's like fucking perfect. Like, did you take him out? Was he allowed to go anywhere with you?
Yeah, he's a great guy. And yeah, you kind of compare, it's like Derek Jeter in a way where you never hear of any, he's just like for so long been like the best player, but you never hear of it. He's just a good person. Yeah. So I think that knowing how professional he was at such a young age, I mean, he was the leader right away. He's the best player. I mean, it's not like guys are giving him a hard time. But even if you were, and even if there was times when, Sid was pissed off on the ice, because his first few years he gave it to the refs, right?
I know.
And then he's grown up a lot, but you just had to understand how young he was and how good he was. It was just incredible to watch. I'll never forget the first training camp seeing him. I was like, this guy is, because you hear all the things like, I want to see this, and then he's doing things like it's almost better than I actually imagined. So I saw it up close and personal, and yeah, once in a while when the team had a green light, Sid will come out and have drinks with the guys for sure. He's quiet in public, but everyone loves playing with him.
Yeah. Listen, early in his career, he'd always get involved with stuff after the whistle, or like you said, going after the refs or whatever. It seemed like guys would obviously take liberties on him because he was young and had such a reputation. But were you ever concerned that maybe it was all getting to him and he wasn't going to be able to handle it, or was there always just no question this guy was going to turn out and be the guy he obviously is now?
Yeah, there was no question. I mean, if you saw him in training camp his rookie year, you'd say this guy's going to win a Stanley Cup. Like, if not, seriously, he was.
I could answer that question.
I mean, he was. Yeah. He was it was everything he was advertised, and hearing what people had been saying, you're like, it almost has to be true when like guys like Wayne Gretzky are talking about you.
Mm-hmm. But I just mean everyone knew he was great. But he's gotten away from a lot of the shit that he used to get into right after the whistle.
Yeah, I think he was just young. I mean, I think he was just you have to grow up in the league, not only off the ice but on the ice, in terms of realizing it's like wasted energy if you're screaming at refs, and then if your ref hates you, he's never going to help you out on any calls. And he probably just over time understood, why am I getting involved in stuff that isn't helping my game.
And, he also will give you that little reminder, too, that, I'll slash in a hand and cut your finger off, kind of, like.
Oh, yeah, he plays with an edge. He plays with an edge.
He does, dude. He's gritty, man. Like, so. But anyway, let me get back to you, though, Whit. Let me get back to you. This is interesting. I did my research because that's what I do as a good journalist here. You went to the Olympics. A couple guys got banged up. You're next in line. You go to Vancouver. But not only did you go there and you experience that whole thing, but then you're writing blogs for Barstool. Like fucking 2010, I had no idea who Barstool was, to be honest with you. None. But you're out living in Boston, probably blowing up out there. How'd that all go down? Were you pumped up going there? Did you party? Like how'd that?
Oh yeah, that was.
Dude, explain that whole situation, bro.
That was it was so brutal when I made the team originally, and you just imagine playing for your country in any sort of international event. let alone the Olympics. It was, and then Paul Martin went down, and I got the call from Brian Burke, and Paul Martin's a great guy. I felt brutal. He might have broke his arm, or I don't remember what happened, but I felt really bad, but next man up. So I got the chance to go, and my foot was already like starting to get pretty bad then, I remember, and I wasn't playing very well. And I went there, and I know the first game I was against Switzerland, I was on the second pair. You dressed 7D, and I played so bad. I was just really struggling. And right from then on, I went to the 7D spot where I was getting spot shifted. But still, it was still the best experience of my life, because there was like 3 days between every game. So you'd go out with your buddies in Vancouver. People were wearing T-shirts some of the days. It was like 50, 55 degrees out. It was so beautiful. So it was just the most amazing experience to be in the village and a part of these Olympic Games in Vancouver. And we beat Canada in the round robin portion of it. Everything just was perfect. And tying it up late in the gold medal game, it was our time. Like we did it, and we were going to do it again. But
were you just walking around town? Were you walking around town like, hey, like were people just coming up to you? Like, could you go to restaurants? I mean, it wasn't too bad. I mean, I remember going out a decent amount, but it wasn't. This was before like social media and stuff. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right with that.
So there was no Twitter or Instagram. Yeah. I mean, you weren't really on your phone as much at all.
But you got into bar. That's when you started writing. Why did you start writing? Were you just bored? You're like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna. I don't know if I've written like 2 blogs, but I was just always a fan of Barstool since Dave Portnoy started. I started reading it pretty early. I thought it was funny, and then kind of Twitter began, and so you end up like following each other, getting to know each other a little bit there. And he was always like, "Oh, you gonna come work for me?" I was like, "Doing what?" And then podcast ended up becoming a thing, and he was nice enough to grab us and kind of give us a contract, so that we're under their umbrella now, and it's worked out great because I've been a fan for a long time of Barstool. I know those guys real well. They're good people, funny guys, and I'm excited to see how well they've done, and they really deserve what's kind of happened to their company.
All right, so help us understand like the whole history behind Barstool. Like you said, you knew who they were. I mean, obviously, I watched this documentary they had the other day, and how early of a fan were you? And like, are you just like, I mean, just taken back? I mean, look at where it is right now. Did you ever see this? I mean, in terms of it getting this big, and why do you think he's been so successful?
Or where do I start? All right, so I remember when it was a newspaper, and it was like they'd hand them out for free at like train stations or wherever around the city, and then it turned into a website. So you start reading the website, and he was just a funny writer. The way he wrote about things was kind of like me and my buddies. Same types of things you'd say about owners, about teams, about really any sort of Boston sports subject. But there was also a lot of gambling thrown in. He was a gambler and different type things. But I just enjoyed reading the website. And, I mean, I think that he's been successful because he really doesn't give a shit. He's stuck to his guns. He is not cowered down to the groups of people who've tried to
PC.
Bring him down. Yeah, exactly. He's told the PC police and culture to fuck off. And it's worked because there's plenty of people who agree with him. But he's also really funny. He's a smart guy. He's brought in a lot of great people that have made that their website and blog and everything they've turned into that much bigger. And everyone who works for him, I mean, Dave will give you shit, and he'll call people out and has no problem making content out of embarrassing somebody that works for him. but he's well respected by the people that work there. I mean, he's very fair in terms of salaries, and away from the camera, it's a different thing. But you're still going to get ridiculed if he feels like it to make funny content.
So did he know who Biz was? Like, how'd that whole thing come about? Like, how'd you present it to Dave in terms of what you wanted to do with the podcast?
It was always kind of, once we were on there, he doesn't listen. He doesn't know. And then you start talking to Erica Nardini, who's the CEO of Barstool. She's phenomenal. And that's what you'll go through. You'll go through most things with the podcast with her. But when we did bring Biz in, I think Dave knew of him, and had definitely maybe seen his Twitter or stuff he's done. But it was our decision to bring him onto the pod. It wasn't really they wouldn't have said no to that. But then, they obviously are going to bring him in and try to get him being himself, which Biz has no problem doing in front of cameras. And so it's been a relationship that just really worked out well.
Yeah, no, it absolutely has. But it's like, you know what? You guys are like being in a band, though. It's like being in a band. Like, do you guys fight ever? Are you sick of, like, I'll give you an example.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I want to kill Andy. No, I swear to God. And I think it helps the podcast that I'm.
Oh, yeah. I mean, anyone you work with. Yeah, anyone you work with, I would imagine. I've never really had a real job, but anyone you work with,
I know.
There's times you get frustrated with them, and every guy gets to know the other guy, but you also know it's like a family. You're just, it's very quick. You don't really stay mad at each other. It's more just like quits. Like, I wanted Grinelli to get a microphone. He's like, I'm trying to get the microphone. I was like, get the fucking microphone. And then boom, it's over. And you're like, hey buddy, thanks for getting the microphone.
Because you're a hockey guy and you know how to do that in the locker room.
I seriously think being in a locker room makes a huge difference in terms of you just say what the deal is, and then you get it's just like there's no bullshit, there's no beating around the bush. It's like, hey, Biz is the businessman of the podcast. He's the guy who makes the deals. He's the genius on the business side. No pun intended with the biz nasty. But he can be very like harsh at times. Like, we need this, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, but he always ends up being right. So you got to listen to what he says, if that makes any sense.
No, it does.
How often are you guys like talking between shows? Like, are you guys talking all the time and coming up with different ideas, or do you guys have give each other space too between recordings?
Yeah, we give each other space, but we have a group chat. We'll send things back and forth, and then there'll be an outline for the episode. I'll write down at least the subjects we've always all said, all right, yeah, let's talk about this stuff. So that's kind of how it goes. But I would say that there's not a ton of discussion on the phone. I mean, I hate talking on the phone. So Biz and I will text a little bit back and forth.
Yeah, Andy and I talk on the phone all goddamn day. It's like Katie even
what do you guys talk about?
It's fucking horrible. No, it is. But
it is horrible, man.
But we need to be on the same page, man. And now that it's quarantine, like it's just everything's different now. When I'm next to somebody, and I've noticed this with interviews too. Like, man. I wish you were fucking sitting right next to me. I'd be like,
I know.
Like, yeah.
Oh, it's the biggest. Hey, it's the biggest game changer interviewing people in person. Oh, because when you wait for like pauses and things like that over the phone or on the computer, and then in person, you know exactly when somebody's going to continue talking. It just makes it so much better. That's why we started traveling doing those, because it makes the interview that much more enjoyable for the listener.
Well, it makes the interaction between you and Biz probably, and it definitely does with me and Cam, like when we're in the same spot too. Like, it's just hard to.
Well, you can make faces, and it's just like it's just a game changer. And then if you video the interviews, people like watching those.
But what's the story though? I mean, listen, I remember you guys being in St. Louis. I mean, both at the same time. And you just knew, like, you guys were just. I've never seen guys have so much fun, like during their PTO and during training camp. You guys were just like a sideshow, having fun, but obviously trying to make the team at the same time. But is that really how it all came about? Like, how well did you know Biz before you guys, linked up here in St. Louis?
I knew him well because we had played together in Wilkes-Barre and Pittsburgh for a little bit. Yeah. And I hated him at the beginning. I legit was like, this kid's the worst kid in the world. And then 2 weeks later, I loved him. He just
Why'd you hate him though? Why'd you hate him though? Why?
Because he'll even admit now he was like the loud junior guy. He had to be in the mix on everything. He was Biz Nasty. He's like, call me Biz Nasty. Like, think about that. He knows he was like, he was a different. He was just trying to like be a character in a sense. I would actually like to hear him describe it. I have before, I just forget. But but then you realize how good of a guy he is, and he grows on you. And then, so we were good buddies. And I mean, then he was on Phoenix. He got picked up on waivers by them, and we stayed in touch. But my good buddy Keith Yandel and him then played together, and they became boys. I told Keith too. I go, he goes, what's the deal with this guy? You're gonna hate him for 2 weeks. And Thursday, he's like, this kid sucks. And then 2 weeks later, they were boys. So
I know the feeling, man. I know the feeling.
Yeah. So then when Biz and I both got that invite to St. Louis, it was awesome because I was like, oh, nice. You're going to be there. It just makes it better when you're on PTO and you don't know anyone. It's hard to kind of feel like you fit in, but knowing him and knowing how he was in the room, I say, oh, we'll just feed off each other, and we got along great with the guys there.
Hey, Cam, if I gave you the option to buy a car, you can either go to the dealership or you can buy it from your house, from the crib.
Oh, my God, Andy, Bellman, they make it so easy for you. They'll come to you. Not to mention they'll have videos of any car that you want. They'll go right through it. They'll show you the ins and outs of everything, make it completely simple for you. And I tell you what, they're great people to work with. They've been in the game a long time, Andy. They're huge hockey fans. They do a lot of charity work in this city, and they make it comfortable for you to go buy a car at Bellman.
Exactly. And we're dealing with a pandemic. Cam didn't know that, but everybody else knows we're dealing with a real pandemic. This is serious stuff. And so that's why they're making an adjustment to make life as easy for you. Because people out there still need transportation. People out there were still planning on buying cars. Doesn't mean that you have to put that on hold. The NHL season's on pause, but your car aspirations don't need to be. www.bellman.com. You can email them. You can text them. They've got so many different ways. And again, they will do a virtual meeting with you where they'll walk around cars. They'll show you the exterior. They'll show you the interior. Answer any questions you may have about the engine or the performance. And great lease deals. You can buy a new car, pre-owned deals as well. And again, if you're a current Bellman customer, listen up to this as well. Because they will come to you with a nice, clean loaner car, all sanitized. You don't have to worry about the big germs because they took care of it. They cleaned it all up for you. They'll leave you with the loaner car, take your car back to the shop, service it up for you, and then deliver it back to you. That's what I call service, Cam Jansen.
They make it too easy, Andy. Everybody's going to start doing this kind of stuff now. They're innovative. They're great people. Check them out. Bellman.com.
If you can't get there, they'll come to you. Again, Bellman, Buick, Cadillac, GMC, or right across the street, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. Bellman Automotive Group, proud sponsor and big-time supporter of what we're doing here on the Cam and Strick podcast. www.bellman.com.
How did this all go down with the Pink Whitney, man? Are you making a ton of coin off of that? Like, can you just be like, you know what? If everything fucking fails, like, I'm gonna chill, pump this fucking thing up, and it's like a cult following now. I mean, I'm looking at some right now in my office. To be honest with you, I'll pump your tires up a little bit. I'm sitting right there. How'd this all go down? How'd you create this whole thing?
I saw some girl was going viral because she was making like daiquiris with mixing Pink Whitney and Starbursts in a blender.
I just saw that on the internet, by the
way. So yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it makes no sense. It's so funny. I laugh at it. But we got sponsored by New Amsterdam Vodka. They are awesome. Since the day they came on and became our presenting sponsor, we had the best relationship with them. They're just so easy and nice to deal with, and we just got along well, which makes an ad deal and a partnership that much better. So
yeah,
the first time they were, I've told the story a bunch, but the first time that they became our presenting sponsor for the first episode, they asked us to each talk about vodka and what our favorite vodka drink is, right? Just to organically be talking about drinking vodka and what you mix. And one of the guys, like Grinelli's like Red Bull vodka, like he's a piece of trash. And Biz said vodka on the rocks or something, and RA said vodka soda. I don't exactly remember which was which, but I went last and I said vodka pink lemonade, the best drink in the world, because I've been crushing that for a long time. I used to crush the Newman's Own pink lemonade with vodka. I just loved it. And no shit, the next couple of weeks, people are sending in pictures of pink lemonade vodka, Pink Whitney. This drink's incredible. Like, we're laughing so hard. Biz says to me, maybe 3 weeks after, he said, dude, we should make a drink. I said, and he has so many ideas. So many of them end up working, but he has so many that a lot of them end up fizzling out. So that one, I'm like, who the fuck's going to buy a drink with my name on it? So I'm like, no chance. He says it again. I'm like, Biz, stop. No chance. Well, then we're driving to a costume party at my in-laws. And my wife says, I'm telling her, like, we keep getting more pictures of this Pink Whitney. People love this drink. And she said, why don't you guys start a drink? I'm like, oh, shit. I said, Biz said that too, like 3 times.
Yeah.
Now if you're both saying it, so I call them, boom, speakerphone. Like, hey, I'm with my wife. She just said the same thing you said. He's like, yeah, let's do it. In the meantime, he'd already purchased or like looked into purchasing pinkwhitney.com, Pink Whitney on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
Man, this guy's a step ahead. So that's why Biz is the main reason this actually happened.
Wow.
And then New Amsterdam said they agreed. I think when they saw all these people sending pictures, hey, let's give it a shot and make some. And it's been a huge hit because we have like the best fans, the most loyal fans in the world. It's awesome to be able to share something with them that we all enjoy, right? Everyone can get banged up, especially in the quarantine.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when it first came out, like you couldn't get your hands on it. Like I'd call up to different liquor stores and they'd be like, oh, we're sold out. And then you start making the rounds at all these different cup parties last summer. And it's at every cup party, you know, so it just became like an instant sensation. But getting back to the podcast, Whit, who's the guy you had on when you knew that, hey, man, this is starting to really take off? People are just going nuts over this. Or was it right away? Like, was there a feel that you got? Like, describe that for us.
All right, so I'm getting on my phone. I'd have to like go back, man. We've had so many different interviews now that it's hard to remember. I know getting Crosby and Nathan McKinnon last summer was huge. That was like to get Sid and to have Sid be able to talk to us the way he did, in which that's a guy who you don't hear much from, right? He's a private person, like I mentioned. So that was a huge moment. I know that helped us grow an enormous amount. But we were already kind of getting big at that point. But when Biz came on full time, I just remember it every episode seemed like it was getting more feedback and more feedback because Biz changed the whole landscape. It was Grinelli, myself, and Rear Admiral, 3 Boston guys. Rear Admiral and I began this. Grinelli hopped on. We tried to talk about the whole league, and we did, and we interviewed people, but we also were kind of really Boston-centric. All of us lived here. And then having Biz and his following and just, like, the stories and just he was a shot of adrenaline, right? Like, he's what made everything grow. So anything right after he came, I mean, it's hard to even think back before when it was so small, yet even then it felt pretty huge because even if there was 300 people listening, it's at the time it's like, well, that's kind of cool. I mean, I don't know why anyone's listening to us to begin with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So how long were you guys doing it before Biz came on board? And like, was it just a phone call one day? Said, hey, dude, you should come join us. Like, how did he end up coming and being a part of it?
He came on as a guest. I have the worst memory. If you guys,
no, you don't. No, you don't. I do. Thank you very much.
Some things I have a great memory with. Like I can remember every golf shot after a round, but I can't remember how many episodes we did before Biz came on. But he came on as a guest a couple times, and he crushed it. And people really enjoyed his stories and just who Biz was, the Biz Nasty persona. And it was so much different and better in a way that I remember saying, guys, we should bring him on full time. It'll be perfect. It'll be perfect. Like he's what we need. And I also knew that Biz is so driven business wise that I was never going to be myself and RA. I don't think we were ever going to be the guys that are putting in the hustle, like away from the recording to really make this thing grow. Whereas Biz puts in so much time and energy, legit selling ads, but just getting stuff done all the time. And I knew also that he had the drive to do that along with being himself. So it was just it was like a huge free agent signing that just took off and captained the team.
That's how Andy is. Andy could sell, honestly, a ketchup popsicle to a woman in white gloves. He doesn't give a fuck. Like he'll
in the heat too, in a 90-degree St. Louis day.
Yeah, in a park. Yeah. No, he. But let me ask, how does like the sponsorship work? So you guys have to do a couple live reads here and there. Like how do you guys like disperse all that stuff? Is everybody equal? Like how you have Pink Whitney on, that's in your name. Do you guys, is that all equal, or how does that all go down?
Oh, well, we all have different contracts, right? Like, I'm not gonna say like what the deal is for everyone, just because I don't know.
I hear that.
As nice as it was to know what everyone made in the NHL, I guess after you when you come into the real world, you just don't go spouting off your salaries. I wish it was like it used to be, Janny?
Hey, give me your social security number real quick.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, who makes the most money on the podcast? Who's making?
Like, fuck, is that the better question? Is that the better question? I'm sorry.
Biz.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Do you have hey, listen, do you have an agent for your business life?
I don't. Never had an agent, because I heard when this thing started and I was able to do some TV with NHL Network and Sportsnet and kind of back and forth. I was told if you get an agent, they take 10% or something.
Ooh,
I'm like,
yes.
what?
It's not true.
Yes. It's true.
Yes.
I'm like, it was 2%. It was 2% in the NHL,
Yep.
10%. I said,
Fuck
so
you.
these guys, I got a couple calls to do tryouts and get on camera with those networks. I said, I don't need an agent. I'll just do it.
How do you guys? So like Andy and I, honestly, we sit down and again we talk on the phone all fucking day. My wife thinks there's something going on between us. To be completely honest with you, I don't like her thinking that way, but it is what it is. But we dissect what guests we want next, and we're trying to get a rhythm going down, and I think we're doing okay. But for you guys, man, you've had all the big boys. Now are you just kind of like, okay, let's get somebody on that fucking throwing heat? Like, give me some fucking stories in the minors. Give me this, give me that. Like, what's your vision on the guest situation?
It's funny. I think everyone kind of differs a little bit. I know there's a high population of listeners, or a bunch of listeners that love like the locker room stories, maybe the kill stories Biz tells, or we hear once in a while. But I think just getting a little older, I like just hearing the guy tell a good story from like his days playing. There's plenty of funny, hilarious stories that aren't necessarily like when my son listens someday, I'm going to be getting questions asked. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I know. You got typical.
But a guest bringing heat for me is a guy who's able to answer a question and add something onto it, and not necessarily make it one word answers. You know what I mean? Like, when somebody wants to be on there and wants to talk, and that's bringing the heat for me, because most of the time people like that, there's so many fans out there that want to hear their story and where they came from and what made them who they are today.
So, Whit, listen, Biz got all emotional when I kind of brought this up to him when he came on the podcast. Or no, it was actually my radio show. He came on my radio show and he got emotional and like wanted me to send him the clip. But like, because guys like Roenick, they come on, like you guys are just having fun. Like, you're not trying to get anybody in trouble, obviously, but guys feel loose and they start to open up and probably maybe, I guess, I don't know, to some people, maybe they cross the line. So like, Roenick gets in trouble. You had some other, people who maybe said some things. Like, when that happens, like, how do you react? Do you feel bad about that? Like, at the moment, do you see this becoming a big story, or were you kind of caught off guard by, some of the stuff that's created some news away from the podcast?
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of any ones besides JR. I maybe the best one, like I said, I have bad memory. But with JR, man, JR's a great guy. He came on with us. He's a good buddy, and he just kind of forgot that nowadays you can't say anything. I mean, I swear to God, I'm always thinking, what episode am I going to say something? Oh, wait, thank God we're recording it. We can cut it out. Because it's like everything you say, and at least how sometimes the way I can talk, it's hard. So JR's telling a story that, he doesn't think it's a big deal because the people he was with, were a part of it, but they didn't at all sign up for him saying it on a big platform. So I kind of understood when he was saying it, that like some people might get offended, and there were certainly, and I think JR wouldn't be mad at us at all, because we give anyone the option to take anything out of an interview that they want. But JR didn't even. I don't think he thought it would be as big of a deal as it was, and it's just the kind of the time we're in, and something he shouldn't have said nowadays, right? That's kind of what it comes down to.
Yeah, no, I know. Look, I said stupid shit on your fucking podcast, and I was worried for 5 weeks afterwards. The first time I did it with you guys, I remember, and I'm like, 5 weeks. I'm texting Biz. I'm like, God damn it! did I fucking say something that dumb? And I'm like, fuck it, Cam, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I like think about it because you guys didn't release it for a long time. I'm like, oh boy, but that's just the way it is. But inadvertently,
but what sucks? Hey, what sucks is that if you get 25 tweets from people who were like offended about something you said, it's 25 people, and yet it's such a big deal now. When in actuality, how many people is that? Like, it's everyone's so sensitive, and if any person hates what you said or lets you know that lets you know that they think what you said is rude and ignorant, then it's like, all right, well, here's the end of the world coming. And
I
in
know,
the end,
you're so right, man. You're so.
It's just guys shooting the shit. It's like you can't even.
Man.
So people say, like, are you worried guys aren't going to want to come on because they're afraid they're going to get in trouble? Like, not really, because you can talk about anything you want to talk about, and I think most people know what they can and can't say nowadays, as much as they wish it was a little different than it is.
So I'll tell you this real quick. We had Domi on, and Andy and I were he was great, man. Like, you can't, although he is somewhat of a princess, and I'm going to call him that because I had to call.
Is that what he was? Was it on your pod? He said Stevens was.
Yes.
Oh,
first of all, I had to call 3 different people to get a hold of him. But once I got a hold of him, he's like calling me off the hook. Like that's just the way he is. Like, but Andy.
Actually, he didn't return your fucking text message.
He didn't return my text, and all of a sudden, shut the fuck up, Andy.
He texted me back.
Thank you. I'm deleting that. Here's the deal. But now we're buddies. But he comes on, and Andy asked him about the Niedermayer thing. It's just like Stevens was going crazy, and he just went completely off on him. And we're like, oh, okay. And it kind of blew up. But people don't realize with that, like, you have to dissect how a super heavyweight's thinking about another super heavyweight. He's not thinking of skill. He's thinking of toughness versus toughness. And it blew up. And my point is, he called me, and I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm like, oh, my God, he's going to be pissed that we posted that. And I called him. He's like, yeah, fucking did it. We're fucking number 1 in Canada right there. Trenton.
No way.
He loved it.
He loved it. He fucking loved it. He doesn't give a shit about anything. He doesn't care.
No, but there's been other people we've had on, Cam, where we've had to take some stuff out because it just guys weren't comfortable with it.
Carcillo, yeah.
Yeah, you guys are doing great. You guys are flying. I love it.
Well, it's a grind now. It's a grind. We got.
Hey, it does turn into a little bit of a job. You're not exactly digging ditches, but people think it's the easiest thing in the world. It turns into a little bit of a job at some point.
Thank you. Dude, Andy's
especially when I'm in my car, like my neighbors are like walking their dog, like staring at me, think like, what the fuck? Why are you in your car? Aren't you inside? But
we bought all new equipment, by the way.
That's Cam's claim to fame. So hey, real quick, what do you want to do now? You like what you're doing? I mean, you have you envision other things too. Did you like doing television? Could you see yourself getting back into TV? Like, what are you thinking down the road here?
No, I don't think I'll ever be on TV again. I definitely enjoyed it at times, but we're lucky enough with Barstool's the best. I mean, without them, we're not at all what we are, and I think that we all realize that. And I think with the ability to say whatever we want, I'm never doing anything but that. I could never go back to TV now and not be able to say. I need to say what I want to say, and you can't do that anywhere else, really. And that's what's so great about being there. And I love what we do. I think that the traveling sometimes gets tough. Like, we're on the road a lot, and it's great, and you get to meet fans and I think interview guys that live in other cities. It's awesome. It really is like a dream job post career. I feel so lucky, grateful, and fortunate every day. No joke when I think about what I'm doing. And so I have no reason to not want to keep doing exactly this. Biz wants to do more and more and more and more, and I can't because I'm crazy. I'm a nut about golf. I'm as passionate as I was about hockey, so I love that, and I'm really into it. And then we have I have a family, and being around and doing things, whereas Biz is so gung-ho to do everything, I try to balance it with also my life at home and my hobbies. So. Well, we'll see what happens, but I certainly love what's going on right now, and hockey media is getting bigger and better with you guys and BX guys. The ex guy, never say his name right. He punched my head in.
I tried to fight him a million times.
He punched my head in. But it's great to see guys that are retiring and getting into the media and getting out there. Good for you, fellas.
Well, tell Biz I don't have a family either, and I'm bored. And I got a river by my house to be able to go canoeing. You guys
exactly. In Eureka.
In beautiful Eureka, baby. Beautiful Eureka. That's what we call it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right on, man. Well, look, man.
Thanks,
Whit. You're the fucking man, dude. Appreciate
no problem,
everything.
Guys.
Appreciate you having me on. Right on, big boy.
We appreciate it, man.
See you guys later.
And that was Ryan Whitney, Cam Jansen. Your thoughts?
Well, he's just he plays in the NHL for 10 years, and all of a sudden he's a fucking selling booze, talking every day on a podcast, living a life, making fucking probably just as much money as he did in the show. Well, not exactly, but probably, I mean, consistently he's making money year long. And, he's just, you got to tip of the cap to you, sir. Tip of the cap.
He's golfing all the time. This guy just wants to golf.
I know. He fucking hates life right now, though. I could tell he's just like, get me the fuck out of my house. I want to golf. I'm stuck in the west wing of my mansion, just like Kobe is. No, he's everybody's weirded out right now, man. When you're still used to like,
you don't know how it is. You don't know what it's like.
No,
you're on vacation over there. You have no idea. Just like we talked about all these players, everybody's like, "Are you guys okay? How are you making it? Are you okay?"
Oh shit! Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that fucking 10,000 square foot house.
Fuck! I'm in my hot tub.
You know, I'm just chilling.
I know my kids are fucking. I could hire somebody to even fucking teach my kids shit if I wanted to. Like,
how about Dak Prescott getting caught out having a party?
Well, no. What else did he had a party, and then he says something to the effect of, $35 million won't help my kids out or something. Like, what? He's actually, I like him as an athlete, as he's humble. He's fucking doesn't say. There's a video of Dak Prescott one time, and I'm not huge, but I love football, man. I love watching it. It's a chill Sunday. But just little things like this go along with me. He's sitting on the bench. He's starting when he was a rookie. He takes a cup of Gatorade, drinks it, and he throws it in the trash, and it hits the side of the trash, and he sits down, and he looks straight at the field, and he looks back, and he sees it, and he gets up, and he throws it away, and the camera's on him. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have fucking said it, Andy, but that hit somewhere with me, and I like that man, although I think he did kind of fuck up the last couple days.
Well, that was pretty dumb. I told you my neighbors, man, they've been violating social gatherings. Apparently, there's a number you can call to like rat people out when I'm afraid to do it.
No, don't do that, please. Don't. No, okay.
That's not really my style. They're not coming over to my house.
Don't. I know. It's not like go creep them out real quick and see what they're doing in there. I'm kind of curious now. What if they're fucking just? What if he's having a bunch of unbelievably good-looking women over there, and he's just having weird sessions, and you hear it, and they keep coming back, and you're like, well, you can't do that. Although very, very cool, you can't do that. You're spreading the virus, homeboy. Although you could be a peeping Tom and fucking entertain yourself.
Yeah, no, I stay.
They're probably all hideous. You're in the poor part of the dude. He's ugly as shit. He doesn't even have any money. He's not good looking. They're not good looking.
No, there's a house behind me now, though, Cam. One of the newer houses they just moved in like 6 months ago, and apparently they're all their old neighbors where they moved from. Like, I guess they always had the party house, so all their old neighbors come over and they party every day. They sit back there and just party at night.
And you just creep them out?
No, I don't creep them out at all. I just look at it, see it.
Yeah, everybody's staring at you in your fucking house, dude. Like, you need to like. You have like 5 different people staring.
They can't see me. They can't see me.
Naked. I'd be like, oh shit, people are fucking. Oh, no way. I can't. It's cold in here. I'm going to embarrass myself.
It's cold in here.
It's cold in here. So I tell everybody when I walk around naked, it's fucking cold. Cold in this house. Always. Always. Yeah. Remember that.
Keep it warm, man. All right. So that was Ryan Whitney. He was cool, man. We appreciate him coming on.
Yeah, he's great.
He was cool hanging out with him during the All-Star break, man. These guys just have it going on. They're just like hockey's version of rock stars, these guys. They're almost, you're right. They're like more popular than the players right now.
100%, man. Like, Biz Nasty's the most popular NHL going right now. Like, you know,
and he knows it too. He's like, oh no, Arizona can fire me. They can fire me.
He doesn't give a fuck.
It's charity work.
It's like Witt's part, like NHL Network. What you're mad at? I said something like, what? Like, okay, what the fuck are you gonna do? Fire me? Fine. I'm selling Pink Whitney out the wazoo.
This guy Dave Portnoy, man, has become one of my favorite people.
Speaking of like, how does he not have coronavirus with all those packages and shit?
He might.
And he's fucking eating food that they send him, and his fucking mom yelled at him. He's eating brownies from like random people through, like, what, dude? And he's like touching everything. At least wear fucking gloves, Portnoy.
Yeah, they're
that
pop
guy's
brownies.
a genius, man. That guy fucking just makes entertainment for you.
He turned the Corona into this like event.
I know.
It's like a TV show I got to tune into every night.
It's like a cesspool in his apartment though, like with all those boxes of different places everywhere. Like that's like the last thing you want. It's like having a party.
Well, he might be asymptomatic, man. A lot of people have the Corona, they don't even know. But he's got people out there like cleaning all the boxes.
I know. Serve Pro, I think, is what it is. Those guys are working fucking to the core. He's probably tipping them out like no other kid. You got to take care of those guys. Like if you're doing this,
he and Whitney go way back though, man, and it's good to see that he's taken care of. Yeah. And then obviously Whitney's taking care of him, man. They just exploded with Barstool. So
Whit was doing those things with Barstool because
before Biz came on board.
And even like during the Olympics, where he's like, I'm gonna do a little live blog for Barstool. I didn't even know what Barstool was back then. He's blogging for him, but he's from Boston. You knew what it was about because you were in the game.
Yeah, but I didn't know what Barstool was. Honestly, I didn't really know what Barstool was until
not too long. Yeah,
Spitin Chiclets. I was like,
I had heard of it. Actually, the first time I saw Dave, I'm like, God, he's might be a little too much, which people probably think of me all the fucking time. But then I got to see him, like, okay, now I get him. No, he's funny, fucking brilliant. He's brilliant.
I just watch the pizza reviews. I don't really get into like,
you just see his personality on that though. But that's who he is.
I can tell.
Something different.
I can tell. Yeah. Just like Whit. Even before hanging out with Whit or Biz, you know exactly who they are. You know who their personality is by listening. So we appreciate him coming on. As always, brought to you by our friends over at Bellman.com, www.bellman.com. Get your new car, get your pre-owned car, let them sanitize one up, come out to you. They got the Cadillac, they got the Buick, the GMC, the Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram right across the street as well. So you got lots of options. There's no excuse, Cam, not to get a car from our boy Dan Bellman right now.
Not at all. And the weather is beautiful. They got the Jeeps too, by the way. You can take the doors off and go for a cruise and stay away from people. Of course, they got the virtual, a video of what is it, virtual sales? And then they can show you the
virtual meeting.
God, help me out then, Andy.
Jesus.
Well, fuck, help me. But anyway, you can check out the car. They'll have the video of the car, and they just make it easy for you, and they'll drop it off at your house, and they're good people, and they love St. Louis and hockey. It's like, God, just buy a fucking car from them. Seriously.
Yeah.
Why? Like, those are the people you want to take care of. They'll take care of you.
You should be on these sales calls.
Well, shit, man. It's like, what? Like, if I just fucking told you this guy's legitimately a really good guy, which is not easy in that business, and he supports youth hockey, and he loves the Blues, and he's good with you and real and helps you out and will take care of you. It's like, there you go. Damn.
There you go. Straight from Cam and Jansen. Also, Cope24.com, www.cope24.com. Hope you enjoyed Ryan Whitney. Thanks, as always, for the support that you're giving us, man. We're having fun bringing you some quality content and some fun entertainment right here on the Cam and Strick podcast.